There is a story I love. It is about a person who finds a great treasure. This treasure is hidden in a field. The person sells everything they have. They do this just to buy that one field. They know the treasure is worth more than anything else. It is a simple story, but it holds a powerful truth for all of us. It asks a question that can change your life. It is the question I want you to hold in your heart today. What is your treasure in the field? What is that one thing that is so valuable to you, so meaningful, so full of light that you would do anything to have it in your life? Let me tell you about a man named Leo. Leo was a good man. He worked in an office. He sat at a desk from morning until evening. He answered emails. He went to meetings. He did his job well. People liked Leo. He was reliable. He was steady. But every day, Leo felt a little bit smaller. He felt like a light inside him was slowly dimming. He would look out the window at the big, wide world. He would feel a pull, a quiet whisper that said, "There is more." He did not know what more was. He only knew that he was not living it. This feeling was his call. The call to adventure does not always come with a loud noise. Sometimes it is a whisper, a feeling of being restless, a sense of being out of place in your own life. He would come home from work and feel so tired. Not just tired in his body, but tired in his spirit. The stories on the screen felt far away. They did not touch the part of him that felt so empty. One evening, he watched a woman build a beautiful wooden chair. A feeling stirred, a longing. He remembered being a boy, building model airplanes at his grandfather's workbench. The whisper grew louder. What if you could feel that joy again? What if you could build something? What if you could create? It was his first step out of the familiar and into the field. The next morning, Leo did something different. He woke up a little earlier than usual. The house was quiet. The sun was just beginning to rise. He found an old notebook instead of the news. He opened it to a blank page. The clean white paper looked a little scary. It was empty, just like he felt, but it was also full of possibility. He picked up a pen. He hesitated. He did not know what to write. Then he started with the truth. I feel lost. I feel like something is missing in my life. He wrote down the heavy feelings he had been carrying. Putting those feelings into words was like opening a window. It let some air in. It let some light in. He did not try to solve his problems. He just described them, his job, how tired he felt, the longing for something more. The more he wrote, the clearer things became. He was not just tired. He was uninspired. He was disconnected from himself. Writing became listening. He remembered the woman building the chair. He wrote, I want to work with my hands. I want to build something. He did not judge. He did not ask if it was practical or silly. He wrote about his grandfather's workshop, the smell of sawdust, the satisfaction of a job well done. Page after page of memories, feelings, small flickering desires. He was sketching a map of his own heart. This became Leo's morning routine. Some days a lot, other days a few words, but he always showed up. The journal was his sacred space, a friend, a guide, the first tool to begin digging for his treasure. After a few weeks, Leo noticed a pattern. The same words kept appearing. Build, create, wood, hands, community. These were the clues, the breadcrumbs. He decided he needed to see these ideas. He went to a craft store and bought a large corkboard, a box of pins, and a stack of magazines. Back at home, he spread everything out. He wasn't looking for anything specific, just letting intuition guide him. He cut out pictures that made him feel something. Hands covered in sawdust, a bright open workshop, people laughing together, words that jumped out. Purpose, joy, create, share. He wasn't thinking, he was feeling. He pinned everything up, a beautiful mess of dreams and ideas. For the first time, he could see it, a version of his life that felt right. Not emails and meetings, but tangible creation and connection. He hung the board across from his bed. It was the first thing he saw in the morning and the last at night. More than pictures, it was a declaration. This is what I want. This is where I am going. The journal helped him hear the whisper. The vision board helped him see the dream. Now he had a destination, and the next step was to start walking toward it, one small, uncertain action at a time. Seeing the dream was inspiring, but the treasure was not on the board. The board was just the map. The treasure was in the doing. He hadn't touched wood since he was a boy. He was afraid of being bad, of failing, of looking foolish. This fear was his first test. He found a community class. For a week, he hesitated. Doubt was loud. "You're too old. You'll waste money. Stay safe." But the vision board called him back. He took a breath, picked up the phone, and signed up. His hand shook when he hung up. The first night was terrifying. He walked into the workshop and remembered his grandfather's shop. The sawdust, the oil. He felt like an imposter. His hands were clumsy. His first cut crooked. His first joint didn't fit. Shame rose. "See? You're no good at this."
But then he looked around. No one was perfect. They were all learning. The teacher didn't criticize. "That's okay. The first cut is always the hardest. Try this grip."
His voice was kind, his guidance gentle. Leo's fear began to melt. He wasn't failing, he was learning. He picked up the saw and tried again. This was the digging. Leo kept going back. Every Tuesday night he showed up. He learned to sand wood until it was smooth as glass, to join pieces strong and true. He was still clumsy sometimes. He still made mistakes, but something had changed. He was no longer afraid of mistakes. Each one was a lesson, a small victory. Their first project was a small wooden box. To Leo, that box was everything. He found deep joy in the work itself. When he measured and guided a saw, his mind couldn't worry about his office job or the future. It could only be right there, with the wood, the tool, his hands. The small box took weeks. He sanded it, he stained it, he polished it until the wood shone with a warm, deep glow. On the last night, he held it in his hands. It was simple, imperfect, but he had made it, turning rough lumber into something beautiful and useful. He set the box on his nightstand next to his journal. It was a symbol. It was proof. He could learn. He could create. The dream wasn't fantasy. It was possible. A small thing with a huge meaning. The shift from thinking to doing, from dreaming to building. He had found a piece of his treasure, not buried in a field, but waiting in his own two hands. As the first class ended, Leo felt pride and sadness. He didn't want it to end. The center had an open workshop. He started going every Saturday, practicing, making another box, then a small shelf. One Saturday, he met Arthur. Arthur moved with quiet grace. His hands knew the wood. He was building a beautiful rocking chair.
"May I show you something my father taught me?" A subtle change in grip, and the cut came clean and easy. A friendship began.
Arthur had been a cabinet maker his whole life. He shared stories and small pieces of advice. How to read the grain, how to wait, how to sharpen. The most important tool was patience.
The wood will tell you what it wants to be. You just have to be quiet enough to listen. It was the same lesson his journal had taught him.
Leo wasn't just learning a craft. He was learning a way of life, a partnership with the material, a dialogue with purpose. A year passed. Leo's life looked different. He still worked his office job, but it no longer defined him. His real life was in the workshop. He had built tables, he had built chairs, he had built bookshelves. His hands were calloused and strong. He felt more like himself than ever. A neighbor saw his bookcase. She asked if he'd build one, and offered to pay. Leo was shocked. He did it for the love of it.
"The work is the reward," Arthur said. "Sometimes the treasure is not just for you. Sometimes you find it so you can share it."
It's perfect. It's more than a bookcase. It's a piece of art.
Seeing her joy brought a new kind of satisfaction, connection, service. He started small, projects for friends, a little side business, Leo's Woodcrafts.
It's okay to make that first crooked cut.
Leo's story is simple, but it holds the map for all of us. His journey shows us the way, a path of small, steady steps. It is a path of listening, dreaming, trying, sharing. Your journey will not look exactly like Leo's. Your treasure is uniquely yours. It begins with the courage to admit you are searching, and the belief there is more. Start where Leo started, with a blank page. Get a notebook. Sit in the quiet and listen. Write how you feel. Write what you dream about. Make your dream visible. Create a vision board. Hang it where you will see it. Then do something. Sign up for a class. Volunteer. Visit a new place. Try the thing you're afraid to fail at. The treasure is found in the work, in the doing. Be like Leo. Face the first crooked cut. Find the joy in learning. Find your Arthur. One day you will look up and you will not be lost.